Truth and reconciliation. What reconciliation means to me. Reconciliation is bringing people together, and back then it was the opposite. They were being taken away from their land, children were being forced away to residential schools, being harshly punished more than being educated. They were taken away from their culture, and they were forced to act the Canadian way. What the Indigenous wanted was their land back, and for them to stick to their culture. I believe that reconciliation is having Canadians to never have what happened in the past happen again and stay peaceful with Indigenous people. Before this unit, what did you know about Indigenous people?
Before this unit, sadly, and I'm guilty of this, I thought of Indigenous people as people would commonly think about stereotypes related to them, such as like they walk around wearing Indigenous clothing, they live on reserves, and that they're not really part of our society. But looking back onto what I've learned, my opinions and views have really changed because I was presented with facts and information that allowed me to connect to who they really are and to promote a new way forward with them.
Yeah, that's kind of similar with me. What I knew about indigenous people before this unit was that really only that they were the first people to live on Canada and that they were brutes and savages who lived on the land in like tents and hunted their food with their hands or something like that. And I'm really guilty to know that now they're just people just like us.
What was one thing you learned that you didn't know before about Indigenous people?
I didn't know that they went to residential schools and they were assimilated. They had their culture, their family, their parents all stripped from them to go live in a place they didn't want to go and be forced away from their homes just to learn the ways of European culture. I didn't know that.
And for me personally, I didn't know that they lived like us, and they lived in our society. Like if nobody told me that they were an Indigenous citizen, I would probably not know that they had Indigenous background. So it was really interesting to learn that they actually are like us, and they're promoting Indigenous culture through different forms of media in our society.
Do you think that Indigenous people should be more respected, and why?
Yes, I definitely think Indigenous people need to be more respected. There's no way they can just forget what happened to them with residential schools and how their identity and their culture was stripped from them. The government definitely needs to say their apologies to the Indigenous people, and the Indigenous people should forgive the government as well. That's why, yeah, I really think that Indigenous people need to be respected more.
I completely agree with David. They need to be respected as you would respect a different person on the street. And just in general, everybody should be respected. And what happened in the past, it's always going to be there. You can't like wipe their minds of what happened in the past. We need to work on building a new future with the Indigenous people and not just dividing our two societies.
Before this unit, what did you know about Indigenous people?
What I knew about Indigenous people, I always viewed Indigenous people as alcoholics, rapists, and they don't do anything. They just live on reserves.
What was one thing you learned that you didn't know before about Indigenous people?
What I've learned from this unit is that Indigenous people are strong, welcoming communities. And also, I think if one side would stand up and forgive the other, it would be the Indigenous people. And that's what type of people they are.
Do you think that Indigenous people should be more respected, and why?
Yes. Yes, we should respect them and honor them. They are first people in this country. They're the people that founded this country, and they should be highly respected and honored by others.
Thank you.